Welcome friends, today we will discuss Waqf Amendment Act 2025. First of all, we will discuss why it is in news, what exactly is Waqf, what is the history of Waqf, and what is Waqf Amendment Bill 2025, what's the significance of it, what is criticism on it, and then as usual we will discuss mains and prelims questions. So let's start the video. First of all, why it is in news. President Draupadi Murmu on Saturday, April 5, 2025, she has given her assent to Waqf Amendment Act 2025. Means the bill which was passed in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha this week, now President has given assent to the bill and the bill is now converted into act. So please remember, when it is introduced in the House, it is known as bill. When President gives his assent, it is converted into act. So Waqf Amendment Bill is now an act. Originally, actually, it was introduced last year, but due to some issues, it was transferred to JPC, whose head was BJP leader MP Jagdambika Pal. Now, there is a renaming of this particular act, that is Unified Management, Empowerment, Efficiency and Development Bill. Now, in short form, I can write it as Ummeed. Ummeed means literally what you normally say. Ummeed means Asha, means something good is going to happen. Then comes the next question. So if government has decided to bring this particular bill, there has to be some objective of it. Yes, government want to bring transparency, accountability and efficiency in the Waqf property governance. I repeat, transparency, accountability and efficiency in the administration. Then comes the first question in your mind. So what exactly is Waqf? Waqf refers to the permanently dedicating property for religious or charitable purpose. Means anyone can dedicate his property to Waqf. Anyone can dedicate permanently. For which use? The use can be religious or charitable use. So use has to be religious or charitable. For example, it can be used to support mosque, madrasa, education, or it can be used, money can be used for support of poor also. But please remember, once a property is declared as a Waqf property, it becomes inalienable. That means it cannot be sold, it cannot be transferred, it cannot be inherited, or it cannot be gifted also. This is most important about Waqf property. So you may say, so why we are discussing now? In entire India, if you check it out, more than 8.75 lakhs Waqf properties are there, making Waqf board, which is supposed to manage this, as a third largest landowner after army and railways. Means in India, if army is having more number of major number of land, then it is railway which comes next. Then after that is his Waqf property. So that shows the significance. Then when this particular thing started, they started far before british, before british period, before you can say more than 7 to 800 years. Now after that, in British also passed a law, and Indian government also in 1995 they decided to pass a law in which there was a lot of amendments in 2013. In 2024, BJP government decided to bring a bill, Waqf Amendment Bill 2024, but later on it was sent to JPC and certain changes were made. So let us see the key changes. Let us see only the key changes under 2025 Act. First of all, eligibility to create Waqf, means who can create Waqf. Earlier, now listen carefully, here I have carefully drafted this. First, earlier what was the provision? Earlier anyone could create Waqf. मतलब कोई भी आदमी, any person can declare his property or her property as a Waqf. Now what will happen? Only those who have practiced Islam for at least 5 years are eligible. I repeat, that means suppose X is a person, he changed or decided to change the religion from a religion to Islam religion, and immediately can he transfer his property now? Answer is no, he has to practice the Islam for minimum 5 years, then only he can create a Waqf, else no. Then what's the criticism on it? Criticism is people say it's a discriminatory, as the new converts should get all rights which are there under fundamental rights, and religious freedom is clearly specified under article 25 to 28, and article 14 of Indian constitution, it talks about right to equality. equality in front of law irrespective of your religion or race or caste. So people feel this article is violated. This is a criticism by critics. What is the second change? Earlier there used to be work by user doctrine. What do you mean by that? See, community used to use the land even without documents, because now suppose I have a property, I have a home. Don't you think we do have home property documents, written documents? But earlier there is a possibility that community is using a land even without documents for generations, and it could have been recognized as work. But now the doctrine says it will be preserved only for those property which are registered before the law enactment. Matlab, for example, on April 5th, suppose it has become Act 5th of April, whichever property which were earlier before 5th April will be get protection. After 5th April, this doctrine won't be available. Even for those properties which are there before 5th April, if there is a disputed to government as a government land, then in that case also those can be challenged. So this is also one of the major change which has been done. Third, government oversight, it talks about it. What do you mean by that? Earlier, work property used to be surveyed by surveyors which used to be independent. Now this job is given to the district collector or officer above the rank, and if there's any dispute, to resolve that. And next most important change is section 40 is repealed. Now what is the section 40? Section 40 used to allow work board to declare work land suo moto, means work board can declare any land as a work suo moto. What do you mean by suo moto? Suo moto means on its own, means on its own they can declare any property as work. Then what's the concern people are raising? People are saying instead of surveyor you are bringing district collector or bureaucrats, there is a possibility of more bureaucratic control and red tapeism. So government insight oversight will increase. This is what criticism. Fourth point, they say non-Muslim representation. Now work boards and the central work council must include at least two non-Muslim members. That means two non-Muslim members should be there in the board now. Not only this, the CEO of the work board, not necessary he should be Muslim only. Means now two non-Muslims will be included, plus the CEO is not necessary that he should be Muslim only. What is the opinion of critics? Critics says this particular thing is an encroachment on religious autonomy under Article 26, because Article 26 gives us the right that citizen can manage religious institution. Now here if government is interfering, they feel that it is a violation of this particular article. But supporters says that it will help for inclusivity and diversity. That is, it will help more rather than damage. Then comes the next. What is the financial and legal accountability? Now, government has said that there will be a centralized portal for work registration. Means everything has to be digitized. Is this move is good? Answer is yes, because of digitalization, less and less cases will be there and more transparency will be there in the governance. And those mutawils must update the property details within 6 months. Sorry, you may say, so who are these mutawils? Mutawils means those people who take care of the work property. Not only this, section 107 is repealed. What exactly it was? Work property now subjected to Limitation Act. That itself means after certain years you cannot file a suit regarding this. Now critics says that this action may allow encroachers to claim work property. Now what are the legal and constitutional debate? Immediately after passing the bill, few NGOs and MPs decided to approach Supreme Court, and they said this particular bill or act violates Article 14, 25 and 26. Article 14 which talks about equality, Article 25 which talks about freedom of religion, and Article 26 which talks about management of religious affairs. So people feel these articles are violated. That's the reason they have challenged this particular thing. Now if you check key amendments in the 2025 bills, I have given what was the position one, what is the change. I have clearly specified for easy understanding. So please go through it. Next, is there any significance of it? Yes, if the question is asked in the exam, discuss the significance of the Waqf Amendment Act. First and most important, don't you think it will modernize Waqf governance? It will bring transparency, accountability, and technology driven government. Then you may say, sir, was it needed? If you check it out, even 2006 Sachar committee report regarding this, they have clearly said that most of the work properties are not handled proper manner. If they were handled proper manner, if they were rented, then you could have generate more revenue. The revenue amount may be somewhere in the range of 12,000 crore. And what was the amount which used to generate earlier? It was 163 crore. So if you manage this property well, definitely it will help, and the same money can be utilized for poor Muslims or women, for their education, for the health and other purposes. And this bill will bring the inclusivity because of allowing other religion members, and also especially for women also. And it will brings legal clarity, means the disputed can be resolved because property records are going to be digitized, limitation act will be there, so a lot of good things are going to happen. This is what significance. But obviously every act will have their own critics, so criticism is also there. Yes, the first and foremost criticism is people say that it's the religious infringement. It violates article 14, 15, article 14, 25, 26 and 29. As I said, 14 talks about equality, 25 talks about freedom of religion, 26 talk about management of religious affair, and 29 about cultural rights. So people say it violates all. Second, they say government overreaches too much because district collector is now going to interfere in each and every work. They say why there is a need to have non-Muslim representation, and if non-Muslim representation is required in here, then in that case, in case of other religion also, are you going to introduce the same provision? Fourth, there's a possibility of loss of historical property, because if the property is disputed, then in that case there's a possibility of the property also, and there's a possibility of more and more litigation. And last and most important, they feel the stakeholder concerned parties are not consulted enough on this. So the act has significance also and criticism also. So in the exam, what kind of question we can expect? See, in the exam they may ask you question as it is there in front of you. The Waqf Amendment Bill 2025 seeks to modernize the governance of religious endowments. Absolutely correct. It tries to modernize, correct. But it has sparked the debate, controversy, yes, regarding minority rights and state intervention. Matlab, don't you think people are criticizing that it violates article 14, 25, 26, 29, and unnecessary state intervention is there? So whether it is right or wrong, that you have to decide. So that's reason it is critically analyzed. That still means you are supposed to discuss the significance, you are supposed to discuss the criticism, and then you are supposed to give your own conclusion. I hope if you have watched this video carefully, you can answer this question very well. Now, what kind of question will be there in the prelims? As follows: which of the following statements are correct about Umeed Bill? See, there's a possibility they may ask the full form of the Umeed also. First, mandatory inclusion of non-Muslim, whether it is true or false, that you have to decide. Second, prohibition of work creation for Schedule 5 and Schedule 6. Third, digitization. Fourth, every district will have work tribunal. Which of them are correct? Four options are given. If you know the correct answer, please specify it in the comment box. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.